got my first guitar when I was probably 12 years old, I think. I don't quite remember what it was, but I think it was a K. Might have been, I don't know, might have been a harmony. I don't know, I'm not sure. But it was one of those guitars that you'd find in one of those catalogs, like the Montgomery Ward's catalog. And so when I got the guitar, I was playing violin. And, you know, I was reading music, and I was in an orchestra, and I wasn't playing at the level of first position or anything, but I was doing okay with it. And so, but I wasn't really happy playing the violin because it wasn't super popular back in the 70s and the 60s. You know, in terms of instruments for the cool kids, I would say that violin, you know, at least where I was being brought up, it didn't strike me as being, you know, something that would catch the attention of the other kids. And you couldn't march in the band with it, and that was a real problem because that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to play like the flute, march in the band. But I got stuck playing my grandfather's violin because that's what we could afford, and I'm glad that happened. I really am. But at the time, you know, at that age, you don't know how the brain that isn't quite developed yet thinks. And so I wasn't super happy with it. But I got my first guitar. The violin went up in the closet, and so I started learning this, and I had some lessons. My parents did send me to a few lessons, and of course they taught, you know, finger picking, and that was how I learned that. So, but I wanted to play what was on the radio, you know. I mean, I could hear, you know, see the finger picking, but row, 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 your boat only goes so far, you know. However that was played, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't that. But I wanted to play something else, you know. I wanted to play what was on the radio. So I turned the radio on, and I tried it. I had finger picking. That was it. I didn't have pick. There wasn't anything like this around. So I would just listen, and I'd try to figure out a way to get that sound. And so what would happen is that I'd come up with my own little methods. And so I'm thinking about these methods today. And, you know, usually when people ask me to teach them how to play guitar, I usually start with, you know, this is how you tune your guitar. This is all the parts of the guitar, because that's something I think is important. But before you leave today, you're going to walk out of here with at least 3 chords so that you can start having fun right away. So we would start with D, and we'd go to G, or we go G, D, E minor, C, because if you had those 4 chords, you could play just about anything. So I thought today we'd use those chords, G, D, E minor, and C, because, you know, that's probably the first ones you may have learned. Or maybe you're just learning, and if you haven't learned those yet, you need to focus on that. But when I show people how I do things, usually I just focused on the chords. I never talked about what was going on down here. And still, even now, I'll talk a little bit about it, but I don't really focus on it because it's really, really hard to explain, because it isn't something I learned in a textbook. It's something I just learned, I morphed into it. And so I know these different things. I can play style, for instance. It's just using 2 fingers. Or fingers. Or perhaps a strum. So, and then, you know, then of course there's this one. Which I'm going to kind of try to show you today. That kind of looks like a mess right there. But there actually is a method to it. There's actually 4 things I'm doing there to get that. So, and we're going to use these chords, G, D, E minor, C. So make sure you get those down, okay? So I'm going to try to show you what I picked up so that I could play along with the radio. Anyway, so we're going to start with this rhythm here. And I think the best place to start with that is perhaps the thumb. Let's start with that. You know, a good place to get used to is for this thumb to manage really these bottom 3 strings. I think that is one thing that I learned in lessons that always stayed with me because it works. And you'll notice the way my hand's positioned, my thumb is pretty much hitting right here. It's not the tip of my thumb. I'm not trying to do it like this. I've got it on the side. And this hand here, this heel is right now is not touching, but a lot of times I'll use it to mute the strings. So, you know, so it's ready for that. So everything is kind of turned like this. And I'm pretty much over the sound hole for the most part, but sometimes I find I'm moving up here. For whatever reason, I get different sounds out of it. But for the most part, we're going to stay down here. Okay? All right. Hold on. Let me tell the dog to be quiet. Bernice, don't bark. Thank you. There. Okay. That took care of that. Okay, so back to this. So let's look at that thumb. And right now, I just want you to get used to play the G chord, however you play it. Some people play it like this, some 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 play it up here. But just get your G chord going, and then take your thumb. And right now, I'm anchoring I'm just holding these fingers down here. And I'm actually kind of resting on the strings and the bridge a little bit, but not on the strings that I'm playing, just back in here, in this area. So just get used to that. Just work at that. I'm not picking the string up. I'm just moving over the side of it enough to pluck it. And pretty much my thumb's doing the work there. Although when I get into the rhythm, my hand is also dancing with it. But I want you to get used to that. Okay, you don't always have to play 6/4, 6/4, 6/4, but try 6/5, 6/5, or you can just do 6/6, 6/6, or 5/5, 5/5. Okay, but get used to that. Okay, So once you get used to that, you're going to alternate with it. You're going to hit the thumb, and this hand here is going to make like a claw. How it's shaped. And I'm not really moving it much here. I do change up when I'm really getting into a fast rhythm. You'll see it, but for the most part, this is where it's starting out. Okay, so, but right now, just get used to this. And so let's play our chords. D, E minor, C, G, D, E minor, C. Okay, and so get used to that. You'll notice that I get a little bit of a hiccup in there because I'm actually picking an upstroke with this at times. But right now, just try to do it with a downstroke. Okay, now we're going to do something where we're going to add between the two downstrokes. We're going to add something here, and we're going to add something there. Okay. In the hospital, we used to call that interpolating. It was something we saw in heart waveforms. We're going to interpolate an upbeat. Okay, here we go. All right, so. So what we're going to add to this is we're going to do a downstroke, and in between this and in between this, we're going to use this finger here to do an upstroke. Okay, so this finger is going to only do the upstrokes, and the thumb and this little claw here is only going to do the downstrokes. Does that make sense? Okay, so you got downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke. That? Did you see it? Down, up, down, up. Okay, so that's what I want you to practice next. Down, down, up, down, up. It'll take a little bit. You're going to have to do it real slow until your brain and your hands connect. And if you want, you can, instead of playing the chord, just mute the strings. And pretty soon what'll happen is it'll get pretty fast. And when I think about it, it throws me. So that's what I wanted to show you, this. Now you notice I'm actually doing that same thing there, but you'll notice I'm opening my hand up to give this a little more oomph. But I would just start for now. Don't go that route. Just do this up, that's up. And so that's it. So then as you get used to doing this, providing you don't break fingernails too much, and you can get some nail polish and put that on there, like a clear nail polish. It'll strengthen those nails to be able to handle it more. I don't know any other way around it. I mean, some people put artificial nails on, but then I've noticed with those, anything artificial, including picks, that you get this sound with it that's not natural. It's a picky sound. And so, you know, but it's not that it's bad, and you get used to that. It's something you just have to kind of work out. And so try that one. And tomorrow I'm going to show you this one. Or maybe this one. I don't know, I'll pick one of them and we'll do that, okay? But I'm just focusing on the right hand right now. And so it's just a style. And I'm sure if you go out there and you watch other players, everyone's found something that works for them, or they're able to take it and they can listen to a rhythm and pick it up and add it and actually follow that rhythm with it. All right. So we're going to just leave it right there. And before I get off, though, I want to ask, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, you're one of the 60% that watch the videos and you don't subscribe. Only 40%. Now, I realize you might not find it to be your cup of tea. It doesn't work for you. So you're not, if you don't like it, and that's why you don't subscribe, no problem. Everybody's got their style and way of learning and what have you. But if you do, and you're watching them all the time, just hit that button. It would be awesome, because I just have 300 more to go. And I'll hit my goal for the year. It'll be awesome. So anyways, I thought I'd leave that with you. And of course, you can always share and like and all that stuff too. And if you share, that's great, because it means it gets out to other people. This algorithm that we fight against doesn't always showcase, smaller creators like myself. So you can help that by using those little methods. That's what they look at. So I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to leave it right there. Hopefully it's something you can find useful. And next video, we'll do something else on the right hand. And then we'll go back to chording again. I just wanted to kind of start throwing it a little bit on the rhythm part. People have been asking me about it, so. All right. Okay, we're going to leave it right there. And I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in this world.